Hello everyone and welcome to the 3-Step Secret to Wealth. Today my name is Greg Keenan and with me I have Michael McKinven.
Yep, hi there.
For some of you, you may or may not know Michael. Michael's been in the property industry for over 20 years, and if anyone wants to know about property, Michael McKinven is the person to be able to talk to. And of course we have lots of questions that come through from property investors that are new or current property investors, and today I've picked two of the most important or the most commonly asked questions, and I'm putting them to Michael to answer for you today. So sit back and relax, and he's going to be able to give you some great insight to what he's been doing over the last few years. Just before we get into that, I just want to talk about our events. Both Michael and myself are going to be presenting at 3-Step Secret to Property Wealth. You can find out more just down here, but of course we're going to be presenting in Auckland and in Hamilton this year. So hello to Waikato, come and join us. We'd love to have you there, so make sure you book your spot and get in. So let's get into the questions here, Michael. The first question I have for you is what are the key strategies that you've been using over the last number of years, especially obviously with the booming market and the market's been rising? So what are those key strategies that you've been using to be able to still continue to invest in property?
Yeah. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for the questions, and thank you everyone for listening today. It's an honour to be able to talk to you about some of the things that are happening in the market right now. So what are the key things that I've been doing over the last couple of years? As everyone knows, we've had significant growth in the market since let's say 2013. With that, it's created some risks and some opportunities. Obviously there's a number of people that are quite concerned about the rise in the market. We had double-digit growth for going on 4 years now, and it feels quite tippy. Reserve Bank, of course, are introducing LVR restrictions, and banks are quite conservative with their lending. And as investors, we have to be concerned about that. So I guess the biggest word that I could explain what I've been doing over the last couple of years is constraint. I've been quite conservative with my approach and what I've been doing in property. What I do see though is I do see big opportunities. So right now, Auckland population is, let's say, 1.5 million people, just over, heading towards 2.5 million in the next, let's say, 20 years. We know that we've got huge growth. We also know where that growth is going to happen. Right now I'm talking about Auckland, but this could be for anywhere in New Zealand. But let's say in Auckland right now, we know exactly where that growth is happening. Auckland City Council have outlined in their unitary plan exactly where that growth is going to be happening, and what property is going to be more valuable moving forward. So there's huge opportunities there. On the flip side, we also know that there's a lot of restraint in lending. A lot of people want to borrow, they want to do deals, but unfortunately they're not able to. LVR restrictions, overseas investors getting tied up because the banks won't accept foreign income as serviceability for the loans. So there's a lot of investors that want to be buying that can't. So that presents great opportunities. So what have I been doing? Again, restraint is probably the key word that I would say, but I have been refocusing some of my energies from residential investment through to commercial investment. So let's say a residential property gives a 3 or 4% yield. I'll be moving and consolidating, so selling down some of those properties and moving them into commercial. That's giving me more like, let's say, a 7 or 8 or higher percentage return. So much better yields and much better cash flow. I have been doing that. I have been doing a lot more JV deals, so joint venture type deals. So what that means is that you work with an equity partner, someone with some money, and they will stump up the cash and you stump up the expertise and the hard work to get that deal done. So you give away a lot of the profits, a lot of the equity, a lot of the cash flow. However, you also reduce your risk. So it's something that you're very happy to do in a market like this, reduce your exposure for that potentially, obviously, lower return. Another thing that I've been doing is just still keeping focused, especially with the residential properties and commercial as well, of course, of buying in the right areas, identifying your area, buying the right property, identifying a good property. And when I mean good, not just cheap because it's cheap for the sake of being cheap. It's got great true value, so you're buying it at a discount and it's got lots of potential, and then adding some value, so you're realising that potential and hopefully getting the rents up a little bit and getting your cash flow up. So those are the main things that I've been doing over the last couple of years, Greg.
Great, thanks Michael. Really appreciate that insight into what Michael has actually been doing over the last few years. And of course, with myself working alongside with Michael, I've been seeing firsthand what he's been doing, buying residential, buying commercial. So it's amazing to watch what he does, and he actually, walks the walk, talks the talk, and is out there investing no matter what the situation. But I think that he has key principles that he uses which really make you focused on what you're doing and making sure that you're still on the right track, depending on the market, which has been really an insight for me to see. The second question I have for you, Michael, is probably the most or the popular question that comes through from investors, new and current, and it's on the forefront of their mind in terms of, how do we buy properties in this market with the new LVR rules? Yeah,
it's a massive problem for investors right now. LVR changes came in 2015 originally, and then 2016 another set of changes. So that's tied up a lot of people. They're just simply not able to purchase more properties because they don't have enough capital. So there's a number of ways around that, of course. There's always workarounds to anything that comes in. So a number of different things that we can do. First of all, we can use equity in our own home. This is an old strategy that everyone knows, but you might be surprised just how much your home has increased in value. If you've got a couple of rental properties, how much they've increased in value. So you might find you've got a lot of capital, a lot of equity that you can use to purchase another property. So that's the first port of call that you would look at. The next is looking at second mortgages or loans. So you would look at some potentially a commercial outfit that would lend you some money, 10%, 20% to be able to purchase, or getting a loan from a family member or an equity partner, or hitting up the bank of mum and dad, so loans there. Another way is vendor financing. So this is very common in commercial property and becoming slightly more common in residential as well. So it's whereby you would ask the vendor, would you be prepared to leave some money in this deal for me? So they might leave in 10, 20%. They're a retiring person, they don't need that money, they've had it forever. Then they're more than happy to get, let's say, a 5% return on that money as opposed to a 3% return on the money if it was going into the bank. So that's a really good strategy to use. Another one is second tier lenders, and while all the mainstream banks will only do 60% lending, there are a number of second tier lenders who fall outside the restrictions and can lend up to 75% or even 80%. So there are people in 2017 right now who will lend you, when I say people, there are banks who will lend you that sort of money. The other one, JV or limited liability partnerships. It's becoming quite a big thing in England, staircasing they call it over there. It's for first time buyers to be able to purchase their own property. So it's two people going to a commercial transaction to purchase that property. So in the case of two investors, it would mean pooling funds, pooling income to be able to purchase that property with obviously a set exit or strategy moving forward. And the last one, of course, the old tried and proven 3 R's, the renovate, revalue and refinance. So 3 R's. So you purchase a property, and preferably if you can get that in an asset lender, then you've got it's 100% borrowing on that deal, or if you've got cash, or you can buy it in with one of the second tier lenders. It's a little bit more expensive at the 80%, for example. You can then add the value by renovating it and building in a profit margin, an equity margin, and then you can bring that deal back to a mainstream bank, reduce your interest rates, and you hold on to it effectively with an 80% LVR at a mainstream bank. So that's very possible, always been possible to do that. It does mean you've got to leave a little bit of money in there, of course. You've still got to have your 20% or your 10% equity in the deal. Unfortunately, the good old days like 2009, 2010, where you could do no money down deals day in, day out, are kind of out in this market right now. But it's still possible to do it with a low deposit portion. So those are some of the strategies, Greg.
Great, awesome. Thanks so much there, Michael. I hope you got some tips from Michael there in regards to how you purchase property with these LVR rules there as well. So if you didn't quite get all of that, by all means watch the video again and make sure you write down and get some notes there, because Michael's really looking forward to be able to share that and other strategies that he uses today at the upcoming event. One thing at Wealth Ladder, which both Michael and I like to teach our students, is that property education is one thing, but mindset is another thing. But we need to bring them together and make it as one, because without the other, it's just not going to work. So we need to change our mindset, so that changes our reality with that as well. So we need to make sure that we do that. And when I was a bit younger, or a lot younger than what I am now, I used to be a breaststroker for New Zealand, and of course I used to train 30 hours a week, three times a day. And of course you just slog the body time and time again. Now you can't just do that by pure willpower. It just doesn't work like that. So you need to have a focused vision, a true desire, and a definite purpose of achieving your goals. And that's what will help you also create your wealth that you want. So you need to have those things as well. And that's what we teach at Wealth Ladder as well, on top of the property education. So on the nights in Auckland and Hamilton, I'm going to be sharing and help you understand what is fear. And of course, fear is the biggest thing that stops us from having success. It's the biggest hurdle, so I'll help you understand why that is. And also I'm going to share with you the ultimate success formula, and you'll be able to write that down, take it away with you, and use it in every day of your life. And it's actually, it sounds big, but it's actually not that big, but it is so simple, it is so effective that it will help you succeed in whatever you wish to do. And of course, Michael is going to be discussing his 3 steps secret to his property wealth, and because he's created a multi-million-dollar property portfolio, so we can't wait to hear from Michael and what he has to say. But I won't say any more. If you want to share the group with what you're talking about.
Yeah, cool. So 3-step secret. It's fundamentals. They are secrets. They are common sense at the same time, but they're also secrets. So follow these, and it'll dramatically affect how you grow your wealth and grow your portfolio. So we'll be sharing that 3-step secret that I personally use and have used for many years. Just to reiterate what Greg just said about the mindset, it's hugely important, and we're really, really big on that. How you think creates your reality. So we're about property investment strategies, but also how you think about those strategies, how you think about yourself, your belief systems, those sort of things that we'll be looking at, or Greg will be more looking at, and I'll be focusing on the property strategy side. As part of that strategy side, we'll be looking at things like true value versus market value. So what is true value? So what is market value? How do you buy below market value? What does it mean to be purchasing a property below market value? And how do you identify a property with true value? How do you realize that true value? In other words, how do you turn that hidden potential, the hidden value, into profit? It's really, really important. Another big thing is economic rent. This is the greatest secret of the world's wealthy. We'll be talking about how the ultimate profits in society flow into the value of the land. So we'll be discussing that in more detail. It's also in the ebook, so you'll enjoy reading that. Not in so much detail. We're talking about it in a bit more detail on the night. So you'll get a lot of value out of that, because it is the basis of all investing. If you understand that, then the whole world changes. The reality of the world changes. And lastly, we'll be talking about real strategies. What can you use in 2017 to carry your property portfolio forward, grow it, and become more wealthy, and change yourself as a person in that process? So yeah, it's going to be a really cool night. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive, and we're going to have a great night. So I look forward to seeing you on that night.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Michael. Really looking forward to it. Well, we'll see you in Auckland or in Hamilton. We'd love to see you there. Remember, when you book for the event, it's just $30, and that includes 2 people. So it's $15 each, whether that's your partner or bring along someone, or find someone on the street, bring them along with you. Come and see us. And you'll also get 3 bonuses. Michael talked about his ebook. Now, this brand new, is only just out, so it's 2017 ebook that Michael has written. It's called The Financial Freedom in 10 Years. We're giving that away for free. It's on our site. You can buy it for $29 if you want, but why not? You might as well just come along to the event and get the ebook for free as well. So we'd love to see you at the event. Make sure you book down. Seats are limited. There is a limited number of seats and spaces that we can allow, but just book as soon as you can, and we're really looking forward to seeing you on the night.
We are. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time. Bye.